The congressional hearing room was packed. Karoline Leavitt sat at the witness table, confident as always. She adjusted her microphone and smiled at the cameras. This was supposed to be routine questioning about White House communications protocols. Karoline didn't notice. She was too busy checking her phone under the table. Representative Jasmine Crockett walked in late. She carried a thick manila folder and a tablet. Her expression was different than usual. Not angry, not confrontational, just calm, dangerously calm. Ms. Leavitt, Jasmine began, settling into her seat. Thank you for being here today. I'm sure you are, Jasmine said. She opened the manila folder slowly. Let's start with a simple question. Do you personally communicate with Elon Musk? Happy to be here, Representative, Karoline replied smoothly. Karoline's smile didn't falter. I communicate with many business leaders as part of my role. Mr. Musk is one of many. How often? I don't keep track of every conversation. It varies. Would you say daily, weekly? Jasmine nodded. She tapped her tablet screen. Let me be more specific. Have you ever communicated with Elon Musk about government contracts before they were publicly announced? The room got quieter. Karoline's smile tightened slightly. I'm not implying anything yet. I'm asking a direct question. Have you discussed upcoming government contracts with Elon Musk before public announcement? I'm not sure what you're implying, Representative. My communications are all within proper channels and protocols. Karoline shifted in her seat. I'm not going to sit here and be accused of... That's not what I asked. Karoline squinted. I can't see it clearly from here. I haven't accused you of anything, Jasmine interrupted. Yet. But since you brought it up, let's talk about accusations. She pulled out a printed document from the folder. Do you recognize this phone number? She held it up. The number was partially redacted, but enough digits were visible. That's fine. Let me read you some text messages sent from this number. These were sent to Elon Musk's personal phone. Jasmine looked down at the paper. March 15th, 10:47 p.m. Just left the meeting. NASA contract is yours. Announcement Friday. Keep this quiet. The room exploded. Reporters started typing frantically. Camera flashes went off. Karoline's face went white. Where did you get that? That's a violation of privacy. Those are private communications. Actually, Jasmine said calmly, when private communications involve potential crimes, they stop being private. They become evidence. So you do recognize it. Karoline stood up so fast her chair scraped loudly against the floor. This is a setup. Those texts are fake. I never sent anything like that. Sit down, Miss Leavitt, the committee chairman said. I will not sit here and be slandered with fabricated evidence. March 22nd, 11:32 p.m. Jasmine continued reading. Border wall contract approved. Your company gets the tech bid. $2.3 billion. Tell no one. Does that sound familiar? Jasmine remained seated, perfectly calm. If they're fabricated, you have nothing to worry about, but I have more. Would you like to hear them? This is insane. You're making things up. Karoline's hands were shaking. She tried to compose herself. I want to speak to my lawyer. You're welcome to do that. But you're under oath right now. And I have about 47 more messages just like these. Jasmine looked up from the paper. So let me ask again. Did you communicate with Elon Musk about government contracts before public announcements? I'm invoking my Fifth Amendment right. Jasmine leaned back in her chair. Interesting. Because 10 minutes ago you said your communications were all within proper channels. Now you're invoking the Fifth. Which is it? The room erupted again. The chairman banged his gavel. Order! Order! Karoline's lawyer, who had been sitting behind her, rushed forward. He whispered urgently in her ear. Karoline shook her head repeatedly. Karoline froze. Her eyes went wide. What kind of things? The chairman asked. Ms. Leavitt, Jasmine said. I also have texts about other things. Things that have nothing to do with contracts. Would you like me to read those too? Jasmine smiled slightly. Personal things, very personal things. But if Miss Leavitt continues to claim these texts are fabricated, I'll have no choice but to read them all into the record. To establish authenticity. You wouldn't dare, Karoline whispered. Try me. Karoline sat back down. Her confidence was completely gone. She looked like she might throw up. Let's start with something less sensitive, Jasmine said. April 3rd, 2:15 a.m. Can't sleep. Keep thinking about what you said at dinner. This is dangerous, but I can't stop. Karoline's face turned bright red. Stop. April 8th, 1:43 a.m. He suspects nothing. We can meet Tuesday. Same hotel. Stop! Karoline screamed. The room went silent. Everyone stared. Karoline was breathing hard. Her lawyer grabbed her arm, trying to get her attention, but she pulled away. "Where did you get those?" Karoline demanded. "Why should I stop?" Jasmine asked quietly. "You said these are fake, so why do you care if I read them?" "So they're real? Then why are you so upset?" "I didn't say that." Karoline looked trapped. She glanced at the cameras, at the reporters, at the dozens of people watching. "This is a witch hunt." "No," Jasmine said. "This is an investigation into corruption. The personal stuff, that just happens to be part of the evidence. You made it relevant when you mixed business with whatever this is." She held up another paper. "Should I continue? Because it gets much more interesting. April 15th, 3:22 a.m. Tell me again what you'll do when we're alone. Details." "Oh my God, stop!" Karoline screamed again. She was standing now, face red, eyes wet. "You have no right." "We're in love," Karoline shouted. "I have every right. This committee is investigating whether government officials have engaged in corrupt practices. These texts show a relationship between you and Elon Musk that goes far beyond professional. They show you giving him insider information. The room went dead silent. Karoline realized what she'd said. Her hands flew to her mouth. Jasmine raised her eyebrows. "I'm sorry, what? Did you just say you're in love with Elon Musk?" Jasmine asked. No. I didn't mean, you're married, Miss Leavitt. That's none of your business." Karoline collapsed back into her chair. Her lawyer was frantically writing notes, probably preparing for the lawsuit he knew was coming. "It is when you're giving government secrets to your lover. It is when billions of dollars in contracts are going to companies owned by the man you're having an affair with. It absolutely is my business." "Let me lay this out clearly," Jasmine said. She pulled out more documents. "Over the past 6 months, Elon Musk's companies have received 17 government contracts. Total value $31.7 billion. In that same time period, you and Mr. Musk exchanged over 3,000 text messages. Doesn't it? Let's look at the timeline." Jasmine pulled out a large chart. February 10th, you text Musk about an upcoming NASA contract. February 12th, that contract is announced. SpaceX wins. February 14th, you and Musk exchange texts about meeting at the Four Seasons. Do you see the pattern? "That doesn't prove anything," Karoline said weakly. "Correlation isn't causation," Karoline muttered. The reporters were going crazy. Cameras flashed constantly. Someone in the back of the room shouted a question, but the chairman banged his gavel. "You're right, so let's talk about causation. March 1st, you text Musk, working on the defense contract. It's complicated, but I think I can push it through. March 3rd, you text him, done, announcement next week. March 8th, Musk's company wins a $4.2 billion defense contract. That's not correlation. That's cause and effect." "I didn't do anything illegal," Karoline shouted. "There's more." Jasmine continued. April 22nd, you text Musk about a competing bid from another company. You write, "Boeing is submitting a lower bid tomorrow. I'll handle it." April 23rd, Boeing's bid is rejected on a technicality. April 24th, Musk's company wins the contract. Karoline looked at her lawyer desperately. He whispered something to her. She shook her head. Karoline was shaking now. "I want immunity." "Really?" "Because I have emails too. Internal emails where you instructed staff to delay Boeing's paperwork, where you told them to find reasons to reject competitor bids." "Should I read those?" The room exploded again. The chairman had to bang his gavel repeatedly. I need to talk to my lawyer. Privately." "Immunity," Jasmine said. "For what? I thought you didn't do anything illegal." "That's fine. But before you go, let me read one more text. May 1st, 4:15 a.m. This one is from Musk to you. "When this is over, we'll disappear together. I'll leave everything. You're worth it." Karoline made a sound like a wounded animal. "Please stop." Karoline was crying now, mascara running down her face. May 1st, 4:17 a.m. Your response. "I'm working on the divorce. It's complicated with the kids. Be patient." May 5th, 2:33 a.m. Musk again. "Forget the divorce. Just come to Texas. I'll take care of everything. You and the kids will want for nothing." Karoline couldn't take it anymore. She stood up, grabbed the water pitcher from the table and threw it at Jasmine. The pitcher missed and shattered against the wall. Water went everywhere. Security rushed forward. The chairman was shouting. Cameras were capturing everything. "I hate you," Karoline screamed at Jasmine. "You've ruined my life." "I didn't ruin anything," Jasmine said. not moving from her seat, despite water dripping from the edge of the table. "You did this yourself." Security guards grabbed Karoline's arms. She struggled against them, still screaming. "Those texts are private. You had no right. This is illegal." "Actually," Jasmine said calmly, pulling out another document, "I obtained these through a completely legal subpoena. You see, when federal investigators started looking into Elon Musk's companies for contract fraud, they seized his phones, all of them. These texts were on those phones. You're not the victim here, Ms. Leavitt. The American taxpayers are." Karoline stopped struggling. She looked like she'd been slapped. "Federal investigators? Oh, you didn't know? The FBI has been investigating this for 3 months. I'm just the public face of it. They have everything. Every text, every email, every phone call, even the videos you sent." "What videos?" someone in the audience shouted. "I'm not going to describe them," Jasmine said. "That would be inappropriate, but they exist. And they're part of the evidence." Karoline's knees buckled. The security guards had to hold her up. The chairman called for a recess. The room was in complete chaos. Reporters were practically climbing over each other to get out and file their stories. Security was trying to help Karoline out of the room, but she was barely able to walk. As they dragged her past Jasmine, Karoline grabbed the edge of the table. She looked at Jasmine with pure hatred. "Why? Why are you doing this to me?" Jasmine looked at her without sympathy. "Because you sold out your country for a billionaire who doesn't even care about you. Because you gave him billions of dollars in contracts that should have gone to better companies. Because you betrayed every principle of public service, and because someone needs to hold people like you accountable." "Does he?" "Let me read you one more text. This is from 3 days ago. Musk to you, this is getting too risky. We should cool things off for a while. He loves me," Karoline whispered. Karoline's face crumpled. "Your response? Please don't do this. I've given up everything for you." "Stop," Karoline whispered. His response, "You'll be fine, you're tough. But I need to focus on the business right now. We can talk in a few months." Karoline was sobbing now, her whole body shaking. "He used you," Jasmine said quietly. "He got what he wanted, billions in contracts, and now he's done. And you threw away your marriage, your career, and your freedom for someone who dropped you in a text message." After the recess, Karoline looked like a different person. Her makeup was fixed, but her eyes were red and swollen. Her confidence was completely gone. She sat hunched over, staring at the table. Her lawyer did most of the talking now. "My client wishes to make a statement." Karoline looked up. Her voice was barely audible. "I did it. All of it. Everything Representative Crockett said is true." The chairman nodded. "Proceed." She paused, wiping her eyes. "Then it became more. He told me I was brilliant, that I was wasted in my current position, that I deserved better. We started meeting in private, and then, we started sleeping together." The room erupted again. This was the confession everyone had been waiting for. "I met Elon at a White House dinner, 18 months ago. We started talking. He was charming, attentive. He made me feel special. We exchanged numbers, started texting. It was innocent at first, just friendly conversation." Jasmine watched silently, her expression neutral. "He asked me for small favors at first," Karoline continued. "Just information. What contracts were coming up, who the competitors were. I told myself it wasn't a big deal. Everyone networks. Everyone shares information." "But it got bigger," Jasmine said. "Yes, he asked me to help with specific bids. To delay competitors, to emphasize certain requirements that his companies could meet. I told myself I was just helping the best companies win, that I was being efficient." "You were being corrupt," Jasmine said flatly. Karoline nodded, tears streaming down her face. I know that now, but I was in too deep. And I loved him. I really believed he loved me too." "When did you realize he was using you?" "Last week, when he started pulling away, when his texts became shorter, less frequent, when he stopped making plans to see me. That's when I knew." "And yet you didn't come forward." "I couldn't. I was terrified. Of losing my job, of my husband finding out, of going to prison. So I just hoped it would go away." Jasmine pulled out her tablet again. "Ms. Leavitt, there's something else we need to discuss." Karoline looked up with fear in her eyes. "What? The money?" "What money?" "The $2.7 million that appeared in your offshore account over the past 6 months. Karoline's face went white. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Really?" "Because I have bank records right here. Transfers from 3 different shell companies, all of them traced back to Elon Musk's business empire." "That's not possible." "It's very possible, And it's very illegal. You didn't just give him contracts out of love, did you? You were being paid. No. Karoline shouted. That's not true. I never asked for money, but you accepted it. I didn't know where it came from. He told me it was from investments he'd helped me with. He said he was helping me become financially independent so I could leave my husband. Jasmine shook her head. So you accepted millions of dollars from the man you were giving government contracts to, and you didn't think that was a problem? I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. You're a smart woman, Miss Leavitt. Yale Law School, top of your class. You expect us to believe you didn't know. Karoline put her head in her hands. I didn't want to know. I didn't ask questions because I didn't want to know the answers. That's called willful blindness. And it's not a defense. The lawyer leaned over and whispered to Karoline again. She shook her head violently. He whispered more urgently. Finally, she nodded. My client wishes to cooperate fully, the lawyer said. She's prepared to provide testimony against Mr. Musk in exchange for a plea deal. Jasmine looked at the chairman. He nodded slightly. What can you offer? Jasmine asked. Everything. Emails, texts, phone records, financial documents. I kept everything. I was scared he would turn on me, so I kept copies of everything. Why should we believe you'll cooperate now? Karoline looked up, and there was something different in her eyes. Anger. Because he used me. He made me fall in love with him. He made me betray everything I believed in. He destroyed my marriage. He's ruining my career. And then he dumped me over text message like I was nothing. Hell hath no fury. Someone muttered in the audience. I'll tell you everything, Karoline said. Every contract. Every conversation. Every lie he told me to tell. I'll testify in court. I'll wear a wire if you need me to. Whatever it takes to make him pay. Jasmine leaned forward. Tell me about the Twitter deal. Karoline blinked. What? The government's relationship with Twitter, now X. Tell me about Musk's conversations with you about that. I don't understand. That was a private business transaction. Was it? Or did the government help facilitate that purchase? Did certain regulatory approvals happen faster than they should have? Did certain antitrust concerns get overlooked? Karoline's mouth opened and closed. How did you answer the question? He asked me to help smooth things over. To make sure the regulatory review didn't get bogged down. He said it was important for free speech, that Twitter was censoring conservative voices, and he was going to fix it. And you believed him. I wanted to believe him. And yes, I made some calls. I talked to people at the FTC. I suggested they expedite the review. In exchange for what? He said he'd promote me. Said when he controlled Twitter, he'd use it to boost my profile, make me a national figure. Maybe even help me run for office someday. Did he follow through? Jasmine pulled out more documents. What about the Starlink contracts for rural internet? Karoline laughed bitterly. What do you think? He never mentioned it again after the deal closed. What about them? $6.8 billion to bring internet to rural America. Except the coverage maps were falsified. The speeds were overstated. And large parts of the country still don't have service. Did you know about that? Karoline was quiet for a long moment. Yes, I suspected. He showed me the coverage maps before they were submitted. They seemed optimistic. I asked if they were accurate. He said they were projections, not current reality, that they'd meet those targets eventually. You knew the data was false, eventually, and in the meantime he's been paid billions for service he hasn't provided. But you signed off on the contracts anyway. I didn't know it was that bad. Yes. Why? Karoline looked at her hands. Because he asked me to. Because I was in love. Because I was stupid. The hearing continued for 3 more hours. Karoline detailed every corrupt deal, every illegal favor, every lie she'd told. By the end, she'd implicated not just herself and Musk, but a dozen other government officials who'd helped facilitate the corruption. I'm sorry, she said. I'm sorry to my husband. To my children. To the American people. I betrayed your trust. I betrayed my oath. I let myself be manipulated by someone I thought loved me. And I made terrible choices. When it was finally over, Karoline was led out in handcuffs. As she passed reporters, someone shouted, "Do you have anything to say?" She stopped. The security guards allowed her to turn and face the cameras. What about Elon Musk? Another reporter shouted. Karoline's expression hardened. Elon Musk is a predator. He finds vulnerable people and exploits them. He makes you feel special, makes you believe you're part of something important. But you're just a tool to him, a means to an end. And when you're no longer useful, he discards you. Do you still love him? No. I hate him. I hate what he turned me into. I hate that I destroyed my life for someone who never cared about me at all. Security led her away. Back in the hearing room, Jasmine was packing up her documents. A colleague approached her. That was brutal, he said. It needed to be. The personal stuff, though. The affair, did you have to expose all of that? Jasmine looked at him. Yes, because it wasn't just an affair, it was the leverage he used to corrupt her. You can't separate the personal from the professional in this case. They're intertwined. Her kids were going to find out their mother was corrupt either way. At least this way, maybe they'll understand she was manipulated. That she was a victim too, even if she's also a criminal. Still, her kids are going to see this. Within hours the story was everywhere. Cable news played the clips on repeat. Social media exploded. Karoline's screams was trending. So was Elon's texts. So was corruption exposed. Elon Musk's initial response was characteristically dismissive. He tweeted, "Yet another witch hunt from people who hate success. I've never done anything illegal and these allegations are baseless." But within 24 hours, FBI agents raided 3 of his properties. They seized computers, phones, and documents. Several executives from his companies were taken in for questioning. His third tweet, posted at 3 a.m., was one word: fuck. Musk's second tweet was more defensive. "This is political persecution. They're trying to destroy me because I support free speech and won't bow to the woke mob." Karoline's husband filed for divorce immediately. He also filed for full custody of their children, citing her criminal behavior and moral unfitness. In the filing he stated he'd suspected the affair for months, but had hoped she would end it. Instead, she'd gotten deeper into corruption. The White House released a statement saying they were shocked and appalled by the revelations. They announced a full review of all contracts awarded during Karoline's tenure. They also accepted her resignation, which she'd submitted from jail. Other government officials mentioned in Karoline's testimony started lawyering up. 3 resigned within the week. 2 more were placed on administrative leave pending investigation. Congress launched multiple investigations. The House Oversight Committee, the Senate Ethics Committee, the Department of Justice opened a criminal probe. The FBI expanded their existing investigation. Today, I'm announcing that Elon Musk has been indicted on 47 counts, she said. These include bribery, corruption, fraud, and conspiracy to defraud the United States. The evidence is overwhelming. We have texts, emails, financial records, and testimony from multiple witnesses, including Ms. Leavitt. Jasmine held another press conference. This time she wasn't alone. She was joined by federal prosecutors and FBI agents. But the biggest bombshell came 3 days later. Will he be arrested? A reporter shouted. What if he doesn't? That depends on whether he surrenders voluntarily. We've requested that he turn himself in by tomorrow morning. Musk's response on Twitter was defiant. This is tyranny. This is what happens when the government fears someone who can't be controlled. I will fight this with everything I have. Then we'll come get him. But his lawyers were already negotiating surrender terms. Elon Musk surrendered himself to federal authorities on a Thursday morning. Unlike Karoline, who'd been led out in handcuffs and a tear-stained face, Musk walked in wearing an expensive suit and a smirk. He treated the whole thing like a photo opportunity. He waved to the cameras. He made jokes with the officers. He acted like this was beneath him, like it was all a big misunderstanding that would be cleared up soon. His arraignment was quick. He pleaded not guilty to all charges. His lawyers argued for his release on bail, citing his business responsibilities and his ties to the community. The prosecutor objected. Your Honor, Mr. Musk has virtually unlimited resources. He owns a space company. He could literally leave the planet if he wanted to. He's an extreme flight risk. The judge set bail at $100 million. Musk paid it without blinking. As he left the courthouse, reporters swarmed him. Mr. Musk, did you have an affair with Karoline Leavitt? Did you pay her to steer contracts to your companies? I don't discuss my personal life. I never paid anyone for anything illegal. These charges are politically motivated, taken out of context. What about the text messages? Musk stopped walking. For the first time, his smirk faded. I'm not going to litigate this case on the courthouse steps. I have lawyers for that. But I will say this. I've built companies that employ hundreds of thousands of people. Companies that are pushing humanity forward, going to Mars, revolutionizing transportation, making the internet accessible to everyone. And because I won't bow to the political establishment, they're trying to destroy me. By revealing your own text messages, all 3,000 of them, those messages were obtained illegally. They were subpoenaed, legally. We'll see what the courts say about that. He pushed past the reporters and got into a waiting car. Over the next 3 months, Both sides prepared for trial. Karoline cooperated fully with prosecutors, providing thousands of pages of documents and hours of testimony. The prosecutor wasn't sympathetic. "You should have thought about that before you committed crimes." In one session with prosecutors, she broke down completely. "I keep thinking about what I've done. The money that got wasted, the better companies that didn't win contracts because I was corrupt, the taxpayers who got cheated. I can't sleep. I can't eat." "I know, but he made it seem so reasonable. Like we were just helping the best companies win. Like we were making government more efficient. By taking millions in bribes, I didn't think of it as bribes. He called them investments, gifts, tokens of appreciation." "Ms. Leavitt, you're a lawyer. You knew what they were." Meanwhile, Musk's legal team was working overtime. They filed dozens of motions to suppress evidence, to dismiss charges, to delay the trial. Most were denied, but they managed to push the trial back by 2 months. She nodded miserably. "I knew, deep down, I knew. I just didn't want to admit it." Musk remained defiant on social media. He posted constantly about government overreach, political persecution, and the death of free enterprise. His supporters rallied behind him, claiming he was being targeted for his political views. But the evidence kept mounting. More witnesses came forward, more documents were uncovered. A former executive at SpaceX provided testimony about how Musk had bragged about having government officials in his pocket. An ex-girlfriend of Musk's came forward and said he'd told her he owned half of Washington, and could make any deal happen if he wanted to. A former Tesla engineer revealed that Musk had kept a spreadsheet of government officials he'd cultivated relationships with, and how much they'd been invested in. Then something unexpected happened. Karoline asked to speak with Musk directly. Prosecutors were skeptical, but her lawyer convinced them it might be useful. The meeting was set up in a secure facility. Both sides had lawyers present. Everything was recorded. Musk walked in, looking relaxed. When he saw Karoline, his expression didn't change. "Karoline, you look terrible." She stared at him. "You destroyed my life. You destroyed your own life. You made choices. Bad choices, apparently. You manipulated me. You lied to me. You told me you loved me." Musk shrugged. "I told you what you wanted to hear. That's not illegal. You bribed me. You corrupted me. You turned me into a criminal." Karoline's lawyer put a hand on her arm, but she shook it off. "Did you ever care about me at all?